8:40 a.m. and I'm going to call to order our Economic Development Committee meeting of Tuesday, June 17, 2025. JPS actually ran over, so we had a little bit of a delay, but we're going to start right away. Can I have a roll call, please?
Chair Yu.
Here.
Vice Chair Galassi.
Here.
Member Rutledge, Member Eckhoff. Here. Member Childress.
Yes.
And Member Heather.
Okay, great. We have a quorum. Thank you for being here today. For my chairwoman's remarks, just really quickly, I just want to remind everybody that our healthcare industry insight series is tomorrow. I think it starts at 7:30 a.m. Right, Lisa? At WorkNet DuPage, and we're going to have Good Sam, Advocate, Endeavor Health, all the other large healthcare employers from the county who will be represented. And as you will hear from Greg Bedelov in his cluster analysis later today, healthcare industry has grown significantly in DuPage, and it is a key driver for our regional economy. So it'll be exciting tomorrow to hear from the healthcare employers tomorrow morning. All right, can I get a motion to approve the minutes of Economic Development Committee, May 20, 2025? Oh, I'm sorry. Was there any public comment?
There is not.
Okay, moving on. So I think I did get a motion and a second. Thank you. Was there any discussion or revision to these minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Can I get a motion to receive and place on file incumbent worker training 25-1505 notable notes? I received a motion and a second. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And then I'd like a motion to receive and place on file 25-1506 Sumitomo, also board member memo. Did I get a motion?
Not yet.
Can I get a motion for that one?
Second.
And a second. Thank you, Member Childress. And any discussion with regard to Sumitomo? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then I'd like a motion to receive and place on file our grant proposal notification 25-1521, Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, Department of Labor. We owe a grant of $6,140,333. I did get a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to this item or questions? And actually, I'm going to have Lisa do a quick update, if that would be all right on this.
Yeah,
I'll give the timeline because
quick.
Member Hayter actually had a question about this earlier last night.
Yes, so the good news is, in a normal year, this would represent a significant increase of our total allocation over last program year, from 5.4 million to 6.1 and some change this year. That's based on Illinois' unemployment rate, the population. There's a whole formula that the federal government uses for that. That being said, our program year runs different than the federal fiscal year, federal finance year. So what happens is we get a small segment of our allocation to cover us from July through September. So we're good through September 30th. But as we know, they're working in Congress on the federal budget, and there's a good likelihood that there could be a rescission to this allocation that will hit us come October, depending on what they decide in Congress. I know we're short on time here this morning, but if any of the committee members want more detail or have more specific questions, please do reach out to me and I'm happy to have those conversations.
Okay. Thanks, Lisa. Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes. And finally, for the procurement requisitions, can I get a motion for 25-1459, recommendation for the approval of a contract to the Western DuPage Chamber of Commerce to fulfill the role as one-stop operator for the Workforce Development Division for a contract total amount not to exceed $24,000. I did get a motion from Member Galassi and a second from Member Hayter. Any questions or discussion about this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes. Thank you. So we will now move to our anticipated presentation.
Great job. Thank you. I don't have that much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having us here this morning. Before I share my presentation, which is largely focused on our updated cluster study analysis, which is indicative of where the market in DuPage County and the region is moving and where it's been over the last 5 years and where we see it going in the next 5 years. I did want to take a moment for all of you to know that our current private sector co-chair, Glenn Mazaid, is here with us today. Today is actually Glenn's last day in that position. Glenn is with Old National Bank. He served as our private sector co-chair for 3 years. Unfortunately for us, Glenn is retiring from Old National Bank, and our bylaws preclude anybody from serving as our private sector co-chair unless he's actively employed by the company that has representation here in DuPage. So he technically has 1 year left on his second term, but since he's retiring, he will no longer be able to serve. I know many of you have spent some time with Glenn and talked with Glenn. He's been a tireless advocate for economic development in DuPage. I wanted to recognize him and let you guys know what a great job he has done. And of equal importance, fortunately, we think we run a pretty tight ship and we have some pretty good bylaws. Our bylaws also indicate that in the event that our private sector co-chair is unable to serve, we have a vice chair who will step into the role as the private sector co-chair, serving side by side with County Board Chair Deb Conroy as the leadership arm of our board of directors. And that is Ms. Karen Charvat from Power Forward DuPage. Karen has been on our board for many years in one way, shape, or form, and is a tireless advocate for economic development and all things Choose DuPage. And I know that she will do an admirable job providing me and the staff and our board the guidance that we need. So they're going to stick around afterwards if you guys have any questions or comments or concerns regarding what we're doing at Choose DuPage. So thank you, Glenn, for all that you've done for me personally and for Choose DuPage. And thank you, Karen, for all that you will do in helping steer our economic development ship. We really appreciate it. So now I want to talk about our cluster study. I think we have a presentation. So first, let me just kind of tee this up for you. Again, what is a cluster study? A cluster study is reams and reams and reams of data, which is all available on our website, that shows people where our economy has been and what are the major employers, the major sectors, major growth opportunities within DuPage. But more importantly, it looks forward based on data, not based on Greg Bedloff's feelings or Glenn Mazade's feelings or Lisa's feelings, but based on the data on where our economy is heading in terms of jobs and what we can anticipate to see in the next 3 to 5 years. Now, the big asterisk to this is, as we all know, based on COVID and other things pop up from time to time that have an immediate impact on our economy. But we think that this data, and when I saw this data, this was a real eye opener for me. I kind of wanted to put a slide at the end of this that says, I told you so, but I refrained from doing that. But we've put a 3.5-minute video together that kind of gives you an overall picture of our cluster study, which is available for anybody to share. And the reason I wanted to share it with you guys was because it really paints a very interesting picture about where our economy is headed. And I know you talk with a lot of your mayors and a lot of your community leaders about, I'd like to see this, I'd like to see that, I want this, I want that. And I know that you've heard me say before that economic development is not a magic wand. We can't just get blood out of a stone. We can't fit a square peg into a round hole. So this really provides the data for the types of businesses that Choose DuPage will be focusing our marketing efforts on, our attraction and retention efforts on, and where we think the economy is heading in the next 5 years. So with that as the preamble, and I encourage you.
DuPage is proud to present.
Watch the bubbles. Go ahead.
DuPage County Industry Cluster Analysis. The cluster analysis provides a comprehensive overview of our local economy while identifying areas of competitive strength and projecting trends well into the future. This helpful tool can support your strategic efforts while helping you understand trends that affect your assets. In this video, we'll explain how to understand the report and review a few key highlights. The cluster analysis sorts industry sectors into one of 4 categories: emerging, leading, declining, and maturing. Emerging industry sectors are not yet regionally concentrated, but growing rapidly. Meanwhile, leading and growing sectors are specialized in the region and growing in employment. Declining or underperforming sectors are not regionally concentrated nor growing. And finally, maturing or at-risk industry sectors are specialized in the region but are losing jobs. Now that you have a better understanding of the cluster analysis, let's look at the current state of industry clusters in DuPage and how they've changed over the last 5 years. Here, we see that arts, entertainment and recreation, and construction have all shown positive employment growth, but they aren't yet regionally concentrated industries. Meanwhile, healthcare, transportation and warehousing, wholesale trade, utilities, and manufacturing are currently the main economic drivers for DuPage County. Healthcare is the only sector whose LQ increased above 1. This suggests that the industry has grown significantly and is now a key driver for the regional economy. Next, we see that professional and scientific services, along with administrative, management, finance and insurance, educational, and other services, have all experienced job losses in the last 5 years. These sectors are traditionally considered specialized industries in DuPage. Finally, we see that the government, accommodation and food, real estate, and information industries have declined or underperformed in recent years. Next, let's look at the near future with the 2024 to 2034 projected cluster analysis. In the emerging section, we see that arts, entertainment and recreation, and construction are forecasted to continue their upward trend. Government services and accommodation and food are also expected to rise, after showing a decline in 2019 through 2024 due to the pandemic. Meanwhile, healthcare, transportation and warehousing, utilities, and manufacturing are forecast to continue leading DuPage County. These industries are both specialized and showing positive employment growth through 2034. Professional services and administrative services are both projected to continue as leading clusters, but with no employment growth. These sectors should be monitored for maturing or at-risk trends. That brings us to our maturing section, where we see that wholesale trade is expected to experience negative 1% employment growth, but high levels of concentration. Similarly, management is projected to drop another 5% in employment over the next 10 years. Finally, we see that education, finance, information, real estate, and retail trade are all in decline. The information sector is expected to experience the largest drop in employment by 23%. Retail trade is projected to drop by 10%, real estate by 3%, education by 7%, and finance and insurance by 7%. These are just some of the insights that can be found in this edition of the DuPage County Industry Cluster Analysis. Scan the QR code or visit choosedupage.com to download the full report. For more data and other resources to support your strategic efforts, contact Choose DuPage today.
You can pause it if anybody, I see, remember Heather wants to scan the QR code. I kept looking over at Lisa and seeing her facial reactions to this. So just in summary, the data suggests that retail trade is not coming back. Brick and mortar retail is not coming back in DuPage County. And industries that we have traditionally thought of in DuPage County as kind of the backbone of a large part of our economy are either maturing, which means they're nearing, I don't want to get overly dramatic, not say end of life, but they are maturing in terms of job growth and development. And industries that we have traditionally not thought of as DuPage County leading industries, transportation, distribution, logistics, and warehousing are the industries that are projected to grow. So we have shared this information. Choose DuPage hosts regular meetings with DuPage mayors and managers and the village managers and economic development leaders from throughout DuPage County. We had one last month where we shared this with folks who are doing their strategic plan. But I share it with you all just to kind of level set where we are right now. And as we think of DuPage County as that kind of brick and mortar office buildings and those types of things. And when we focus our strategic efforts and Lisa focuses her strategic efforts, I think it's important that the county is aware of this so that you kind of see what we anticipate the future of DuPage County in terms of job growth. I'll stop there and answer any questions or comments. I don't want everybody to be alarmed. You know, our economy is still an inch deep, an inch deep and a mile wide. So we have multiple industries across all of DuPage County. But I just kind of putting a flag on that whole professional services, management, no offense, Grant, law firms, accounting firms, all of those kinds of things.
He needs a lawyer.
We're just not projecting positive job growth, and we're not projecting positive development opportunities in there. The good news is, because of our robust infrastructure, because of the investments in the tollway and O'Hare Airport and the Elgin O'Hare becoming Illinois 390 and 490, transportation, distribution, logistics, warehousing are really, really strong. But if I could ask just one favor of all of you, when you talk to your mayors, that retail, if you saw that retail trade bubble, which was already in not a great spot, it moved, anytime the bubble moves lower and further to the left, that's an indication that there's not going to be significant growth in that area. So we're going to be looking at the malls. We're going to be looking at the strip malls. We're going to be looking at retail opportunities as hard as we can. We'll continue to invest. But obviously e-commerce is where it's at right now from a retail trade perspective. I'll
Thank you,
stop
Greg.
there.
Thank you so much for this video presentation. I just want to say I really appreciate Choose DuPage. You guys really do add value, and by doing this cluster analysis study, I think that just shows how much value you guys do provide to the county and to all our municipalities. I do have a couple questions, quick questions, but does anybody else have questions first? Yes, go ahead, Member Galassi. Thank you.
I guess my question is, how does the fact that healthcare, I mean, I know you were focusing on like the warehouse and logistics growth. But how does the fact that healthcare is such a driver impact like municipalities when, I guess, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm guessing they don't get a lot of tax benefit
Most
from
of them are
that?
not for profit.
Yeah,
So they
so
get zero property tax.
how,
value
because I
out of
know
it.
like just on the Ogden corridor in my town, it's like every new building is a healthcare building. So, you know, I guess like I have to imagine the municipalities aren't like super excited about that because of the lack of tax base.
Ironically, in your district, there is a, I don't say this, it's not a bad thing. Hinsdale has approached us and said, we want more of the medical industry because it is typically high-paying jobs.
Okay.
So with the fact that you're not picking it up on the property tax side, doctors, nurses, medical specialists, medical specialty folks, it's typically high-paying and it's not a big impact on the community for services. So there is some upside to healthcare. And then, as we all know, with the aging society that we have, there's just such a need for it. So there's going to be that opportunity for it.
Yeah.
But Hinsdale's asking us for more.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
I had a similar question to Member Galassi's, but I just had a general question of, is it because a lot of the hospital systems are just moving more to the suburbs? Is that the general
It's,
trend?
um,
Is there a reason for that?
There's such consolidation happening right now in the healthcare industry with Advocate and Endeavor and mergers and acquisitions. And we were very fortunate in that they already had a large presence out here. So it made it easier for them to just locate here.
Okay. And,
And the other thing that's important to talk about with healthcare, and I didn't put it in the cluster study, it's in there. You just got to download the QR code and dive deeper. The level of education attainment that DuPage County residents has makes the labor force readily available.
okay. I saw a lot of information about arts recreation. Does that include the hospitality industry, the hotel industry?
What you saw there, and if you dive deeper into it, that's a great question, thank you, is post-COVID recovery.
Uh-huh.
So arts is coming back, people are getting back into the theaters, people are getting back into plays. There's not a, you saw that bubble didn't move to the right, which would indicate that there's more construction happening there, but it moved up on the axis, which indicates that there's more investment there and there's more people attending those events.
Okay, great.
Those are really those two in particular are strictly post-recovery, post-COVID recovery conditions.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Member Hager.
Thank you, Greg. Great presentation. And the way it was made was really fabulous as well. So thank you for sharing that.
And feel free to share it when you get it,
Okay,
anybody you
perfect.
want to.
Absolutely. Would you place data centers under the category of warehouses?
Information technology and
Information
warehousing.
technology. Okay, thank you.
And since you brought that up, we're nearing saturation on the data center
Really?
market in DuPage right now for two reasons, land and energy. We are now telling data center operators who call my office literally every day looking for 10 acres, 20 acres of land. It's a 5-year wait for energy to power a data center in DuPage County right now. And that is simply due to ComEd being able to spin up a substation, provide the switch gear, the conduit. It's 5 years to get a data center. So the stuff that you're seeing built right now in Itasca, in Wooddale, in Osiris One, out in Aurora, that was in the pipeline 5 years ago.
Thank you.
Yes, Member.
We
Galassi.
are having our District 3 Mayor's Managers meeting tomorrow. Can you email us the QR code? I can print it and hand it out to
God, I
everyone.
normally have like a Choose DuPage staff person over here. Joan, can you take care of that? Absolutely. We will- yeah.
I'll get it from-
Where's Rita when I need her?
I'll get it
Can you give
from
me a report
Teresa.
of like who's agreed to, isn't it $10,000 that you're looking for from each municipality?
Five.
Oh, five. okay.
5,000. Yeah, we'll get you the map,
Of who.
update who's in,
agreed.
who's out
Okay.
at this point. Sure.
Yeah, our
Hinsdale's in.
Okay.
Our District 2 DMC meetings on Monday, so that's why I was also gonna ask the same question.
We will get that information over to you guys.
Because
so
I
you
wasn't
can
sure
share.
if the QR code, how long is the numbers off.
Pretty voluminous.
It's pretty
Yeah,
voluminous.
Sheila Rutledge would be really mad
I
at you.
know. Okay, never mind, never mind.
And just if my schedule allows, and I don't know, but I'm happy to come to your district meetings and answer
Oh.
questions or share this kind of stuff. I've done that before, so.
Municipal contribution is not pro rata, it's the same for Naperville as
That is
for Wayne.
For our municipal analytics program, which is data that businesses and municipalities can use to help with their economic development strategy, the price is a fixed price. And the intent there, Member Eckhoff, get every community to sign up for it so that everybody,
Unlimited use.
and it's unlimited use.
Member Eckhoff, did you have a question before?
So what does this mean for our tax base as a government, and what, if anything, should we be doing?
Good
Okay,
question.
Another half hour?
no, it's a great question. If we're relying on, number one, I know we had really strong sales tax numbers. But I also know that the sales tax numbers, and I know Chair Conroy said, let's all kind of be patient on that. I would amplify that. I know that our retail sales tax numbers also include e-commerce and the internet sales tax. But I think we should be very aware of the fact that retail sales tax numbers in DuPage County, separate of internet sales tax, simply will not continue to grow. They just can't if there's not enough places.
As that goes down, won't the internet go up?
If employment
People are
stays,
just stop buying.
if employment stays solid and if the economy stays strong, we would anticipate the total number, but you would be more reliant on internet sales tax. Now, if you're more reliant on internet sales tax, but you still have a shopping mall that still needs the fire put out, and it still needs the police to protect it and everything else, and it still needs the infrastructure, but the revenue from that mall isn't there, and it's shifting more to service-based sales or e-commerce-based sales, that's going to create some difficult decisions for you all to make about where the revenue is going to come from to provide those services.
Thank you, Greg. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm going to cut off more questions. If you do have anything to follow up with.
I
Greg,
just
please do
wanted,
that separately.
can I share one, we also, real
Sure.
quickly, our scorecard, we monitor how we're doing in DuPage, and I just wanted to share some information with you. For 2024, 84 projects compared to 117 in 2023. So that's a downturn. Number of projects in DuPage County in 2024 was 84 compared to 117 in 2023. The criteria for that is $1 million private sector investment, 25,000 square feet of new space, 25 new jobs, or a lot of Choose DuPage involvement. So that's a downturn. That is due to, in 2 words, interest rates. As interest rates continue to go up, investment continues to go down. That did represent over 3,100 new jobs, 5.5 million square feet of development, but in 2023, it was 9.4 million square feet of development and about $240 million in private sector investment. I'll email this information
Yes,
to
that would be
Amy
great.
so she can share it all with you. But there's some headwinds because of interest rates.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fran.
All right, so moving on to old business. Any old business from the members? I just want to say again, thank you so much to Glenn and to Karen, our guests, for being here today. Really appreciate it. Hearing no old business, any new business? Okay, without objection, we're adjourned. Here.